18, Rose Bowen. And number 22, Sydney Hake. Please turn your attention to the flag near the scoreboard for the playing of our national anthem. Fans, while enjoying the action tonight, please remember to show good sportsmanship by refraining from derogatory yells or gestures. With your help, Westerly High School can ensure everyone has a positive experience. Enjoy the game.
Hello one, hello all, and welcome to the top of the hill, folks. Sal Algieri Field on this rainy, dreary Tuesday night. We have some varsity ladies soccer action for you. St. Ray's in town, folks, St. Raphael Academy, and we have quite the rivalry. That's going back down to my playing days, and it culminated last year for these two teams. Westerly reaching the Final Four, having an 11-8-1 record, losing to St. Ray's eventually in the Division III semifinals. Is there revenge on their minds? I'm sure there is. A definitely different looking team for the St. Ray's team. They must have graduated a whole lot of people. They only have 6 upperclassmen on the field today. I am the voice, Greg Morano, alongside producer, owner, Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True behind the lens. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, bringing it to you. Like I said, the girls are having a great season this year, a good start to the season this year, but they have high expectations as well. The coach doesn't just want to make the playoffs; he wants home games in the playoffs, and he wants a shot at the title game. Bottom line, he thinks they have the talent to get there. And so far this year, Westerly is 4-1, and is really essentially tied or in first place. They're listed behind the Lincoln School, who sits at 4-2-1, only because they've played more games. All right, girls are on the field now. We're ready to get started. St. Ray's arriving a little bit late, didn't have a very long warm-up. Like I said, girls are clearly cold and wet on the field. You can see it all over them, waiting for the whistle to get things going. We're in a little holding pattern here, folks. And here we go, we're off. St. Ray's with it in the back corner. St. Ray's will be going left to right, Bulldogs right to left to start. Number 2, Gia Keegan on the far side on defense. And St. Ray's centers it. And up for defense for the Bulldogs. And they get it ahead. They might have an early shot. Nope, steps up the defender for St. Ray's. That was number 13, Ocean Lombard with possession. She passes it in the middle. And the St. Ray's clears it. Bulldogs defense stepping up again. That's going to be Sid Hake. And out of bounds it goes. Oh, Wesley kept it in. And they're centering it. Far corner, we have it. Nice ball move by number 14 for the Bulldogs, Danica Jarrett. Westerly plays freshmen through seniors. And St. Ray's has it at the moment. Westerly plays their entire lineup. I know because by the end of the last game I had every single player highlighted in one color or another. So that means they all got on the field. They have an aggressive defense. Bulldogs with it on the far side, midfield again. They want to control the ball in this game. St. Ray's still looking for their first win of the season. Out of bounds it goes. It's going to be St. Ray's ball. And they throw it in down the opposite side. Out of bounds it goes. Bulldogs will throw in. So no shots on goal yet. Bulldogs time of possession advantage here early on. We aren't even 2 minutes into this thing yet. But the rain held off just long enough to get some action here tonight. And normally I would say, folks, that if they didn't have the situation last year, that this is a clear opportunity for a trap game, because these girls have 3 games in 4 days. They play today, they play tomorrow, they get 1 day off, and they play again. The throw-in is going to go out of bounds behind the goal. And they don't just play any random games. They have to play Tollgate tomorrow, and Tollgate's 7-0 is the opposite side of the division. So it essentially doesn't matter as far as playoff seeding goes, but it matters as far as the future competition and a good way to size yourself up early on mid-season area. Like I said, Tollgate's unbeaten, and they to face the Bulldogs right here tomorrow night, a game that was inserted. Then the girls get a day off and head to Tiverton on the 7th. So this would be on a rainy Tuesday night, a game you might overlook, winless St. Ray's. But like I said, with the elimination factor of last year, I really don't think it's a trap game at all. And with the coaching of the team itself, this is an experienced team. Up midfield, Haight with it. Excuse me, that's Rafferty. And to the corner for the Bulldogs again. That's Lombard. She tries to get ahead to Intrari, but there was a Saint body in the way. Lombard with it, fighting. On the far corner, Samantha Sacco for the Bulldogs. Sacco finished last season with 10 goals for the Bulldogs. Intrari had 9, while Cisco had 7. They're looking to up those totals this season. And they were good last year. And here we go. St. Ray's clears it again to the Bulldogs side. Quickly back to midfield. St. Ray's hasn't gotten into the Bulldogs' third yet. And I say that, and well, trickles that towards there. Number 6 for the Bulldogs. Abby Gervasini runs it down. A junior for the Bulldogs. Kaylee Lamb in goal, per usual for the Bulldogs. Senior doing a great job this season. And the throw-in for St. Ray's. Not much room. The Westerly defense is physical as well, and they step in immediately in front of the pass. And a little contact there. Sacco with it up the far sideline. And somehow gets by a defender. Definitely had an angle on her. And down she goes. I figured it was going to be a slippery surface. Bulldogs still have it. And up steps St. Ray's in the far corner. So that thwarts the Bulldogs' opportunity. In the Bulldogs' one loss to Narragansett this season, that's their only league loss. They only managed 3 shots on goal and 3 corner kicks. That game was an even game because both teams matched numbers there. They each had 3 shots, each had 3 corner kicks, but both of those totals are below the norm for the Bulldogs and below what the coach wants. And up the middle it goes. Intrari with a shot at it, and even in front of her steps Sacco, shot on goal. Down they go. First opportunity. Both players went down clean. And the St. Ray's goalie will take it. Bulldogs threatening. Bulldogs definitely with the time of possession advantage in the first 5 minutes of this one, folks. Live, Salo Jerry Field, ladies varsity soccer action. Bulldogs versus St. Ray's. First of 3 games in 4 days for these Lady Bulldogs, who come in today 4-1 in the division. For their first 5 games. High aspirations for the season. That's number 13 stepping up. Ocean Lombard active early. And up towards the middle it goes again. And the St. Ray's goalie corrals it. We will be live, folks, in the gymnasium tomorrow night, Federico Gymnasium, for some lady volleyball action. They are also having a great start to the season. So if you can't get to the soccer game and you're interested in the volleyball game, tune into Westerly.live. We'll have it for you 6:30 p.m. I almost couldn't make it through the last volleyball game. The excitement factor was just off the record. And with it, St. Ray's, one end to the other, in steps the Westerly defender, knocks it out of bounds. That's number 6 for the Bulldogs, Abby Gervasini again. And the Saints will throw in on the far side by the Bulldogs bench. This production is brought to you in part by McQuaid's Ace Hardware, your local family-owned hardware store located on Franklin Street in Westerly, RI, your fall cleanup headquarters. All right, so the Saints have it around the 15, 20-yard line. That's the Bulldogs' third in soccer terms, I think. And Kaylee Lamb's able to wrap that one up. No shot on goal, really no threat whatsoever. So the Bulldogs defense, in the back the Bulldogs have Hake and Rafferty, and those are two really fast. They're physical. You wouldn't really want anybody else as your back two on defense. They get the ball up the field one way or the other. Either they take it themselves and they have crazy skills, ball handling skills and speed, or they just put it up in the air. And Bulldogs trying to do the same thing, Lombard with it, but the Saints turn it, and it's back on the Bulldogs side. Up steps the Bulldogs defense. Back and forth at midfield at the moment. And number 2, Gia Keegan gets in on the action, and a captain for the Bulldogs, 1 of 2. Samantha Sacco, the other captain, both seniors. And the Saints again get ahead of it. They can't quite get behind the Saints D. They almost did once. I think the wet surface got in the way. Sacco with a nice ball move. Shot on goal right off the goalie, and she corrals it. First shot on goal of the day to wake up the crowd a little bit. So the Saints goalie will put it up again. Not long, and in steps Lombard immediately. And the Bulldogs again threatening that quickly. And into the middle, and they may have a shot here. And Trery will have a shot on goal. Did she put it up too far? And nice slide tackle by the Saints. That was as good as it gets. It couldn't get better. Timing for the Saints. Intreri had a close range shot on goal attempt. Nothing's a sure score. It would have taken a good shot as well, but definitely a shot on goal opportunity, a good one, thwarted by the defense of the Saints. And now the Saints goalie has it. So again, the Bulldogs pressuring. They're on the attack. 2 times Saints hit the deck. 2 times it was successful. Both times there were no whistles, and they were clean both times, in my estimation, as far as I know soccer anyway. And here we go in the middle of the field. So the Saints came to play today. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, the Saints' rivalry with the Bulldogs, that goes from here to the gridiron to everywhere, it seems. And it seems it's been decades long. It always seems to come down to it. In baseball, it was just recently this last spring. And right there, Saints steps in the Bulldog passing lane. But again, here we go, the Bulldogs in the Saints third. Number 4 with it for the Bulldogs, Nora Zerberini. A huge part of this Bulldog team. Was last year as a freshman as well. So has more experience than your average sophomore. Oh, and that went off Lombard's hand, so that's going to go the opposite direction. We have a whistle. But as I was saying, Zerberini pretty much played full-time all year long as a freshman and was a big part of their 11-8-1 in their run to the semifinals. So having her as a sophomore is huge. Midfield with it. Number 4 again, as I speak of her, Nora Zerberini. And the Saints step in. A little back and forth. Bulldogs battling for it. They're jostling there, and that's Gia Keegan in the middle of the passing lanes at the moment. And now the Saints will set up at midfield. They're trying to get it this side of the field. They'll move up. And up steps Hake. And that play, it seems like the Saints are trying to set up something, but the Bulldogs are just continuously stepping in their passing lanes. They're not very successful thus far at running any kind of an offense. The Bulldogs really haven't run any kind of plays. They're just getting behind the Saints defense, and I don't think the Saints are going to get away with it very long. They have gotten away with 2 opportunities with 2 great defensive plays, but how many do they have in them? Lombard again with it. They've had the ball on this side of the field with Lombard very often, and the Bulldogs defense runs it down, kicks it out of bounds, ends any chance of a Saint offensive player getting behind them. So the Saints will throw in. We are 10 minutes into the first half of this one, folks. Sal or Jerry Field, no score. Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, bringing you first game of the week. We're back at it at Federico Gymnasium tomorrow. Then we're right back here. It'll be called a gridiron on Friday. It's a soccer field today. We'll be here for both. Bulldog defense with it. Again, ending the threat for the Saints. And Lombard with it up the near sideline. Physical play over here. A whistle. And that's going to be called against Westerly. Letting our players get down the field a little bit. Waiting for the whistle. And no score. No shots on goal yet for the Saints. The Bulldogs, 1 shot on goal, 2 or 3 real opportunities. Game is early. Game is young. Time of possession. I would say time in the opponent's third is definitely a huge advantage for the Bulldogs. And Trary steps in. Saints able to clear it. Hake has it. Hake's great with the ball and has ridiculous speed as they battle for it in the near corner here. Hake ends up with it and puts it up towards the middle of the field. And in Trary, trying to get past the last defender, and it's going to be the Bulldogs' possession. Nice play by the Bulldogs as they have it. They try to center it, and the Saints are there, but there's two Bulldogs still with it. Keegan has it. In the far corner of the Bulldogs. Trying to center it a little bit. Saints playing physical. Out of bounds it goes, and it's going to go off the Bulldogs. So the Saints will take possession, and that will end the Bulldogs' threat. In the far corner, towards the darkness, is Samantha Sacco, who the Bulldogs always like to attempt to get behind the defense with. In Trary as well. And the Saints put it in play. Bulldogs step in front again. That's number 14 for the Bulldogs, Danica Jarrett, a freshman. Like I said, the Bulldogs playing everybody, freshmen through seniors. Zerberini again in on the action in the middle of the field. Rafferty puts it up to the defense of the Saints. Nice ball handling by the Saints. I can't get that Saints defender's number, and she's having a very active, a very good day. She prevented in Trary on that slide tackle in the last opportunity the Bulldogs had, and she's been their last line of defense very often here. So no score, far side, up the sideline, out of bounds it goes. Bulldogs should throw in, I believe. This production brought to you in part by Wireless Zone, your Verizon authorized retailer located in Dunn's Corners next to Dunkin'. Cell phone sales, service, and repair. Get up to $1,000 off iPhone 14 with trade-in when you pre-order. Bulldogs rally on D. Rafferty with it. Immediately reverses the field. And it will go up to a Saints defender. And that is number 14 on the scene again, Jarrett. For the Bulldogs. In Trary. And up steps Saints, out of bounds it goes. We're going to throw in from right about the same spot. And a quick throw in for the Bulldogs. Keegan steps up with it. Towards midfield, centers it. Hake with it. Nice pass up ahead of Keegan. Perfect spot. And Lombard may have a shot with it. And this is the defender. I'd love to get her number. Seems to be there whenever they need her at the moment for the Saints. Bulldogs not far off at all from more shots on goal than they have on record yet for the first 14 minutes of this game. Out of bounds it goes off a Bulldog, I do believe, and it's going to go in the Saints' direction. Left to right, here we go. So the weather has dried up a bit for us, as pregame was pretty vicious. Wind and rain for these players. Trying to dry the ball. And it falls out of her hands. Clearly that's why she was trying to dry it. Which is also going to affect direction, accuracy, shots, passes, everything. Footing. That's why those two precise slide tackles by the Saints still loom so impressive to me anyway. On the spot both times. And the Bulldogs with it are, nope, that was Sacco who puts it up to the far corner, correction. And that again is Jarrett chasing it down. Out of bounds it goes. Saints will throw in. From the far side under the legs. 25 minutes to go, first half of play, no score. Saints no shots on goal yet. Bulldogs won with about 3 other opportunities, I'd say. I had a feeling this may be slow going from the start. The weather, like I said, the record factor. Knowing they have a big game tomorrow, they're playing Lincoln, an undefeated squad. But I do believe this Westerly team, as I said, have threatened more, so they're going to continue to do so. I do believe they will put more pressure on the Saints goalie. Out of bounds it goes. Saints will have possession. They're going to throw in the Bulldogs' third. And up steps number 2, Gia Keegan for the Bulldogs. Number 14 in the way as well. And the throw in. Trying to center it. Can't find any Saints. They find Hake and quickly upfield again. Right where it needs to be again. That passing reverses the field so fast it gives them an opportunity. But again, this Saints defender, number 17, I do believe, do they have one? Yes, they do. I had her highlighted. I don't even know her. She is one of the 3 seniors they have. Her name is Elizabeth Alcantara. And she is the reason this game is still scoreless at the moment. I can say that for the Saints. As far as the Saints scoring, the Bulldogs' defense has been too much. They really haven't given them any opportunities to even get to Kaylee Lamb. Far corner in the Saints' third. They attempt to clear it. And up steps the Bulldog defense again. And number 19 with it for the Bulldogs. Bruno over to number 9, and that's going to go out of bounds off the foot of number 9, Summer Bruno. I was talking about Caleb Bruno, the freshman. So there's 2 Brunos on the field at the moment for the Bulldogs. Saints set to kick. It's been a bit since they've been in the Bulldogs' third at all. Bulldogs putting all the pressure on their 50. Out of bounds it goes, and the Saints will throw in again. This production also brought to you in part by the Knickerbocker Music Center Live. Watch local bands live from the Nick in downtown Westerly, RI. A premium streaming service brought to you by the Knickerbocker Music Center and Westerly Live. And the throw in. Again, a Bulldog steps in. And this one sneaks by, but Rafferty's going to be on the scene. It's either Rafferty or Hake, generally the case. Rafferty clears it, out of bounds it goes, though. So the Saints will throw in on the Bulldog side of the field. Let's see what they can do offensively. And in the way steps Rafferty back to midfield, and they center it. And that's going to be number 9 on the scene at the moment, Summer Bruno. Keegan has it. She's going to chase it down. And that's Intreri, who almost gets a shot on goal. Another slide tackle to knock the shot out of the back of the goal line and prevent another shot on goal for the Bulldogs. However, the Bulldogs will have the opportunity of the game right here to put their first mark on the board. Good defense again by the Saints. I do believe it was a different defender this time. And the Bulldogs will have will have a opportunity here, depending on where she drops it. Approaching midway through the first half. Waiting, there we go. And it's low and directly out of bounds, a little low, a little left, and didn't give any of the Bulldogs really a chance there, so a squandered opportunity. And again, caused by the defense of the Saints. And 3 times it's been via the slide tackle. I think maybe the wet field has helped the Saints. And here we go again for the Bulldogs. And that one was long. And then it went out on a Bulldog. Nope, it went out on it went out on a Bulldog, and the Saints will throw in. So no score here at Sal Algieri Field. The Bulldogs come in today at 4-1, coming off of a loss. No, correction. Coming off of a 4-0 win versus Classical. Their only loss was 2 games ago. So that's a distant memory. I think the weather affects things tonight. And somehow the Saints have been able to utilize the wet field to their advantage, it seems like. Up steps number 19 for the Bulldogs. That is Caleb Bruno, freshman on the near side, number 19. Number 1 assisting Samantha Sacco over here, as well as number 9 for the Bulldogs, Summer Bruno. She's a junior, and she is a staple on the field. Throwing in for the Bulldogs, number 18, Rose Bowen, another freshman. So a young lineup on the field. Another reason maybe why the score is where it is. Maybe the coach working different combinations in a little bit here, putting people in different positions. I don't even mean positions on the field, different positions in the game of soccer. Putting a little more pressure on them, and where they may only get an opportunity late in games. They get an opportunity early in this one. You never know, because I do see combinations that are different from games we've covered. The game we covered earlier this year, the most recent one anyway. And if that's the case, they've held up very well. It's a tie ball game, and the Saints again haven't gotten to the level of the Bulldogs goalie yet. And that was the case in the other game we covered. I do believe Kaylee Lamb had maybe one shot on goal that game, maybe none. And that is the case again for the Bulldogs, pressuring on the far side. 18:41 to go, first half. Bulldogs again a step up and in the way. That's Rafferty. She's going to take it herself a little ways. Gets between two defenders somehow, a nice pass. Gets ahead. We're going to have a shot here. Up and over. Go! The Bulldogs don't squander that one. Beautiful pass and a beautiful shot for the Bulldogs. And you can see it on the replay. Number 9, Summer Bruno. I just said she was a staple for the Bulldogs, and there she was. And that started off, that was all passing. Great footwork by Rafferty to change sides of the field and then to get it up ahead behind the Saints defense. And Bruno did the rest, chipping it up out just beyond the reach of the Saints goalie. Beautiful touch. You would think with a wet ball and maybe you can't put that much touch on it. Not the case. Bulldogs ahead 1-0. And the Saints now with it. So the Saints now trailing for the first time, obviously, in the game. We'll see if they put any more pressure offensively on things. But as I was saying, the Bulldogs may be working in different combinations. If that's the case, it really wasn't on that goal because that was Rafferty stepping in with the steal, changing fields. She split a double team on that. It was so impressively. I didn't think there was a prayer. I thought the ball would come out loose at best for Westerly. Split the double team, changed sides of the field, led. And we're seeing that happen again here, so I don't want to interrupt it. And led Bruno with such a perfect pass, and Bruno with the touch on the shot to finish. And again, number 9 getting her head on the ball, Bruno. Number 3 goes to the floor, Cassidy Cisco, a junior. She was up in the goal totals last year as well, not far off, I believe it was 7. Getting her first action, I believe. Like I said, the lineup is rotating so much. I do believe all Bulldogs will be in action here tonight. Hake she is generally never off of the field. Out of bounds. This one goes off of Hake, and the Saints will throw in on the Bulldog side. Let's see if they can put any pressure on the Bulldog defense. It's really been the Bulldog defense putting pressure on the Saints whenever they get into the Bulldogs' third. And right there again, they step up. And the Bulldogs, number 19, Bruno, to the middle to number 9, Bruno. This is easy to remember all of these different players since the entire roster plays. Number 6 for the Bulldogs, Abby Gervasini, Jr. Easier to remember the juniors and seniors. On the far side, decent footwork by the Saints, and in steps Gervasini. Puts an end to that as the Saints retreat a little bit. See, the Bulldogs don't really let them retreat and set anything up. They try to, and then up comes the Bulldogs' defense so quickly. And here we go, a lead pass by the Bulldogs just over midfield. And she's going to run it down, she being Kayla Bruno, number 19. And up steps the Saints defender, switches sides of the field. This production brought to you in part by Lori Wycall for Westerly School Committee, Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee, Kevin Lothar II for Westerly Town Council, and Caswell Cook for Rhode Island State Senate District 38. And again, as I speak, in steps Rafferty to end the threat. Up ahead to Zerberini in the middle of the field. Beautiful pass ahead again. She's going to run it down. And she being number 1, Sacco, and there's a whistle. Must have been in offsides on the pass, a little too ahead, I think. And the Saints will take over. She did have a big gap, but she has the wheels to create that as well. So the Saints take over, and that threat ended. Again, folks, I am the voice, Greg Morano, alongside producer-owner Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True behind the lens. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, bring you varsity ladies soccer action. The ladies are live this year, folks. Having a good year, have high expectations. Nothing below the title game will make them, is really going to make them happy. That's where they want to be. They got to the Final Four and lost to this very team. They're winning 1-0 here tonight, so there's definitely a revenge factor. It's a different Saints team on the field, I'll tell you that, as they only have 6 upperclassmen. They have 3 juniors and 3 seniors. They are loaded with 11 sophomores and only 3 freshmen. So they're definitely going to be, they're a sophomore-laden team, and they're growing as a unit, that's for certain. They are winless coming into the game tonight. The Bulldogs, having used every player, I think, on the field, on the bench so far, are threatening here again. And it goes loose. It is a whistle blown. And we'll see the call. It is going to go against the Bulldogs, so that is going to end that. But as I was saying, the Bulldogs rotating through their entire lineup here tonight in the first half, and there's still 13 and a half to go. And I believe they're going to do that in the second half as well. The wind, as you can see on the flag, the wind is blowing out there. And the kick. Wind blowing against that kick, and you can see the factor. Number 3 for the Bulldogs, out of bounds. It goes Cassidy Cisco. And the Saints trying to keep it in, unable to do so. We're going to go from the far side, number 6 with it, Abby Gervasini. Active first half thus far for the Bulldogs. Going to throw it in momentarily. A couple more substitutions. And the throw in. The Saints take it, tiptoeing the sideline. Out of bounds it goes, and I think that's off the Bulldogs, and it is off the Saints. Correction, the Bulldogs will take it. And they're looking to throw in quickly, and they're able to. Out of bounds again, and they're going to work their way up the field a little bit. And this time it's off the Bulldogs. Correction. And there's up it goes to Keegan. In the middle of the field with it. Chips it ahead. And the Bulldogs are able to run it down. That's number 14, Danica Jarrett, the freshman. She's going to center it, and in steps the Saints at the last moment. Nice pass by Jarrett. So all of these Bulldogs are capable of getting into an offense, playing defense, it seems. And they're going to turn it around at midfield again. We're going back and forth a little bit here. Bulldogs have definitely threatened far more. They have a couple shots on goal, official shots on goal. As far as threats on goal, they have far more than that. And again, a pass that gets behind the defense, and Trery trying to run it down. The defense at the last moment, able to get there. It goes out of bounds, and the Bulldogs are going to take it. With another opportunity in front of the Saints' goal. And they've spent far more time here. They keep it inbounds, and again, out of bounds, it's going to go off the Saints. So a little bit further up, the Bulldogs will throw in. As we approach the last 10 minutes of the first half, number 14 throws in for the Bulldogs. And Zerberini almost there. The throw is a little ahead, but Rafferty steps in front of the pass, chips it way up ahead, and almost a shot on goal there, just to the left of the goal. And this one's going to go the other way now. So 1-0 if you're just tuning in. This is the first of 3. They play 3 games in 4 days, the ladies do. They're going to be right here tomorrow night versus Tollgate. And Tollgate up top the division. The other side of the division, as St. Ray's is also in the other side of the division. Tollgate is 7-0. They're 7-2-1 overall. So the Saints come in with no wins, and the Tollgate comes in with no losses tomorrow. So it's a tail. You flip both sides of the coin for the Bulldogs and combine the rainy night. So it wasn't really even a slow start for the Bulldogs, as they were threatening offensively right out the gates. Good play by especially one Saints defender, Alcantara. Really did change the scope of things and keep that thing at 2 goose eggs for longer than it really would have been. Really nice job defensively by her in the first half, especially for the Bulldogs only to have one, really, with how many times they've threatened. Shots on goal, that got actually to the goalie. That number is low for the Bulldogs, and it's 0 for the Saints. They're going to kick it in from their own third, across the middle of the field, and it's going to go out of bounds off the Bulldogs, so the Saints will take it further up, and they're going to throw in quickly, try to get behind the Bulldogs' defense, and that's a task, and there's a whistle, and this time it's going to go in the favor of the Bulldogs, and it's going to be Bruno who's going to throw it in from in front of the bench. And we're just waiting for the substitution to finish. Keegan is going to get a break. They're constantly rotating. And so we're going to miss for the Bulldogs. Nice tight defense for the Saints. But the back line for the Bulldogs is always there and ready. And they put it up ahead. And there is one last Saints defender there. Battling for it around midfield. Chipped around this time. The Bulldogs will take it. It's number 16 for the Bulldogs, Vittoria Iliano, who's a very, very active freshman. She was last time we covered this Bulldog team as well. And number 14 gets in the middle. They try to get it up behind that last line, but it is tough. Rafferty having a great night defensively. Again, thwarts the efforts. Zerberini, nice pass to the far side. The Bulldogs take a little bit of a possession. Offense number 6 is going to change sides. That's Abby Gervasini. She's had a very active first half. And a little misstep is going to give Intreri a shot on goal. I think it's Intreri. And it is, and it goes directly to the goalie, who's able to secure it. As you see, at the last second, she got a piece of her foot that prevented a full speed, full-on shot. And that is the same defender for the Saints. And she really has had a fantastic night, Elizabeth Alcantara. It's the reason it's 1-0. I think more so even than the Saints goalie. She got her hands on her knees now. She deserves to take a few breaths. Had a very active first half. Saints have it, and they're going to start with 7:55 to go. And they kick as it curves right up towards midfield. Number 4 is Zerberini in the area, and that's not good news for the opposition. And there you go. Closes in, forces a bad pass. And that's just, oh, nice move by the Saints to get near the back line of defense, and they kind of do. They have a shot here, and there's a whistle, and I think they were offsides, and they were, and that's why they got behind the last line of defense for the Bulldogs. So that gives the Bulldogs defense a reprieve. Otherwise, the coach, I think, would have been unhappy with that allowance because that was some nice ball handling skills by the Saints. I was about to give Wesley credit before it was due, and the Saints almost had a shot at Kaylee Lamb, but did not. They were jumped the gun a little bit, and were called offsides. And they turn it, flip sides of the field. 7 minutes to go, first half, 1-0 Bulldogs over St. Ray's. A little revenge game from last year's semifinals. Bulldogs were ousted by this St. Ray's team. Different story this year. This Bulldog team with title game aspirations. This St. Ray's team full of underclassmen. Only 6 upperclassmen, 11 sophomores. I don't know if I've heard of that. Bulldogs here threatening again into the dark of night on the top of the hill here. Granite Street side of Sal Orgieri Field. They want to touch the back of the net one more time if they can in the last 6 minutes. And the Saints use their head. Couple Bulldogs in the area. Number 14, Jarrett, with an active first half over the corner and puts the shot up little wide. And that is going to give the Saints ball and end that threat for the Bulldogs offense. So the Saints will take possession. 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Bulldogs a decided advantage in time of possession, there's no doubt. A decided advantage in threats. Advantage as well in shots on goal because the Saints have none. So the Bulldogs definitely have more than that. I do believe they're in the 3-4 range, maybe 4. As far as threats, that puts them up even maybe double that even. That last defender for the Saints has killed a few Bulldog threats that wouldn't have been certain goals but would have been close. And again, the pass gets up a little too far ahead. But you see the speed of the Bulldogs. They can outrun that defense on most teams that we've seen them play thus far when you can get that pass up ahead. And that's all they've really seemed to have tried to do here tonight. They haven't tried to settle an offense one time. I don't know if that's because they're running so many different combinations. Trey picks out the pass and tries to get it past that last line. Can't do it, but 2 Bulldogs in the area. And Trey's going to have it in the corner. And they finally set up. Oh, nice move. And she's going to center it. And tried for a one-time or a chip shot. And out it went off the side of her foot as we are under 5 minutes. And the Bulldogs still threatening. They want to tack one more on if they can before they hit the half here. There's no doubt. They have threatened. They've been in the Saints' third. They've made residence there here in the first half. So it hasn't been an idle game. They've spent some time in midfield and very little on the Bulldogs side. Those Bulldogs back 2. They don't allow many shots to get to Kaylee Lamb, and that's great to have as far as defense, obviously. And the Bulldogs in the far corner. In steps the Saints, out the back it goes, and that is going to go off of the Bulldogs. So a big chance here for the Bulldogs. What they were looking for before the half. They got a shot here with a corner kick. And she's going to set up, as are the rest of her team. If she can drop one in there. 4:01 to go in the first half. 1-0. Can they add to it? And nice spot, and the St. Ray's player gets their head involved first, but it goes back out. Nice job by the defense. Bulldogs still with it. It's loose. It's a scrum, and the Bulldogs get more feet in, and they're going to end up with possession again. 2 good shots on goal. Well, 2 good shots anyway. And up steps Rafferty. Puts it up over and out of the back of the end zone. So the Bulldogs threaten a couple times off of deflections, off of the rebound. Unable to tack any more on at the moment. 3.5 to go. First half of play. Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, bringing you ladies varsity soccer here at Sal Jerry Field. Folks, they'll be right back here tomorrow night. Weather's not forecast to be much better. We are going to be in Federico Gymnasium. The ladies volleyball team having a great season, and they have the same expectations. They have title expectations. Bulldogs threatening again. Possession, number 14 for the Bulldogs. Jarrett in, she scores. They tack one in Trary on the spot. Jarrett on the spot with the pass. And I thought it was a pass, and it dropped in over everybody. I think everybody thought it was a pass. I didn't know if even Trary got her head on it or not. What a spot, and she's only a freshman. The Bulldogs able to tuck another one in. The first one from straight on over the top of the goalie, and that one from distance, from an angle, from a freshman. Unbelievable. Danica Jarrett. I thought that was a pass attempt to Intrary, and maybe she got a deflection, but replay clearly showed that just dropped in a perfect spot. And the Bulldogs have that 2-0 advantage now with 3 minutes to go, and they're threatening again. So the Bulldogs finally rewarded for their constant nagging on offense and their decided advantage in time of possession. Nora Zerberini with it quickly turns it around for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs in the Saints' third made residence pretty much the entire first half. So that second goal, that little insurance goal before the half is huge. And the Bulldogs, like I said, have not been playing, I don't think, with any set lineup that they've played with before. I think there's just been constant rotations of players. Because every time I see a number on the screen, it's somebody new. And it makes it fun, I'll tell you that. But it does show that they have quite a quality squad. But it's great. It is just fantastic covering these Westerly sports. Every team seems to have state championship aspirations, stemming from the spring last year, where one culminated in a victory, one to the final points on the volleyball court. Volleyball team again, Saints threatening a little bit, and will Kaylee touch the ball? She will. I don't know if it's a shot on goal or not, but she gets in the game a little bit, warms up a little bit. She's wet. She's probably a little bit tight, hasn't been able to stretch out the muscles, and she finally gets to kick one. But those have moved on right to the fall here with the soccer teams, volleyball, all the teams, and it's just fantastic to play. They've all gotten off to good starts, and we'll be here again right on the field, Sal Jerry Field, Friday night. Central coming to town, so that'll be a test, a non-league test in the big picture that will not matter in the end for the Bulldogs, but it's always a good test at this point in the season. There's no doubt about it. And the throw-in for the Saints, trying to do something, cut this lead in half. We have a minute to go on the books, on the board, at least in the first half of play. And number 14 steps in the way, and now it's going to be cleared by the Saints. Just over number 9, Summer Bruno, who had the first goal for the Bulldogs. Jarrett with the second. And chipped up this side, Zerberini right back to her. And they get up ahead to the middle, and Trary has it, and down she goes. Is there a whistle? No, there's not, surprisingly. And that would have given the Bulldogs a huge chance. Hake with the steal, and right back upfield she goes with it. And the Saints have it. But again, up steps the Bulldogs. Number 18 this time for the Bulldogs, Rose Bowen. And back and forth they go a little bit. A little jostling at midfield in the final moments here of the first half of play. We will hear whistles momentarily. Got to play to it. Number 14 with it, with a chance here for the Bulldogs. And in steps the defender for the Saints to thwart that chance. Got to bounce the goals. Bulldogs will have it. See if they can net one more possibly. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I heard a whistle, and there's a quick substitution. And number 18, Bowen's going to throw in for the Bulldogs. There's going to be another substitution. We are in extra time here in the first half of play. Bulldogs with a 2-0 lead here in the first half at Sal Jerry Field versus cross-division rival St. Ray's. And that is going to do it for the first half of play, folks. The Bulldogs go into the half with 2. St. Ray's has not been able to test the Bulldogs' defense, or they've tested the Bulldogs' defense, but they've been up to the test every time. They haven't gotten to Kaylee Lamb, and the Bulldogs have been playing a complete rotation as far as the lineup goes. Everybody's gotten action, all different combinations. So all in all, a good half for the Bulldogs. We will be back in a few.
Hey, my name's Caswell Cook, and I'm running for State Senate here in District 38, which is Westerly, Charlestown, and a part of South Kingstown. I've been elected 8 times to the Westerly Town Council, and over my 20 years of public service to the town of Westerly, I've paved roads, I've balanced budgets, and I've gotten a lot of things accomplished. I've got a track record. I'm asking you to support me on November 8th for State Senate. It's an important election. Dennis Algier is retiring after 30 years, and I would like to take his place in Providence to fight for you here in District 38. November 8th, please vote for Caswell Cook.
Hi, I'm Lori Wycall, and I'm running for Westerly School Committee. Our education needs to get back to basics. Students should be focusing on reading, writing, arithmetic, and science during the school day. We need safe and secure buildings, which means a student resource officer in every school, and disciplinary policies that hold students accountable. For years, I've been that parent, asking questions, looking for answers, and voicing my opinion. I'm still that parent, and I'll be there for you, open, empathetic, and communicative. On November 8th, vote Lori Wycall for Westerly School Committee.
I am Timothy Killam. I'm running for Westerly School Committee, and I ask for your vote on November 8th. Career and technical training programming is very important to me. Many students enter the workforce directly out of high school, like I did myself, and I now run a very successful business. We put a lot of focus on students going off to a 4-year college or off into the armed forces, but we don't tend to highlight the students that do enter the workforce right after high school. Our career and technical training program has continued to grow, and we are adding a 3rd construction class this year, but we need to do more. We have a neighboring school system that has one of the top-notch CTE programs in the state, and I think Westerly can be there or even above it if we continue to put efforts into the CTE program. Now's the time. Let's grow that program, and let's help every student succeed.
All right. We are back, folks, and kudos to these ladies out here. Let me tell you, the two teams taking the field here for the second half in the brutal wind and rain here on a Tuesday night. They got another game tomorrow. They got another game Friday, and to get up for this one, this would be the perfect trap scenario if it wasn't St. Ray's. St. Ray's comes to town, and you're never going to fall victim to taking them lightly, even though they only have 6 upperclassmen on the field, 11 sophomores. But Bulldogs, 2-0 lead here, opening the second half. As far as the score and the way the game went, Bulldogs had the advantage and put pressure on St. Ray's pretty much the entire first half. And I expect more of that and a few more behind the net, in the back of the net. Bulldogs, however, don't get comfortable with any lineup. I have not been able to lift my head up for too long without going back down to a roster. They are putting every number out there on the field. Every combination of players that they can figure out is what I've come to realize. Putting players in different situations, I think, is what the whole idea of utilizing this game to its as much as you can. Watching the wind and the rain at the half and having to cover up I bet you the girls would have rather skip the half and play right through and get it done, because that just makes you colder and tighter. Right now we have the Saints defense trying to get it over midfield. They haven't had a shot on goal just yet. They threatened a couple times. Bulldogs with about 4 shots on goal maybe, but 10 or so threats, legitimate threats on goal, I would say, compared to really none. Not much gets behind Rafferty and Hake, and they've been on the field quite a bit. So the Bulldogs with it, midfield. They'll be going left to right this time, as they were able to tuck 2 in on the left side at the top of the hill. We are live from Sal Algieri Field. I am the voice, Greg Morano, alongside producer, owner Shane Langer. We have Lisa and True bearing the weather today behind the lens. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, ladies varsity soccer action, looking to add a 4-2 overall, a 4-1 league record versus the cross-league counterpart, St. Ray's Saints. St. Ray's ended the Bulldogs season last year, number 14 for the Bulldogs, putting a threat on, again, Danica Jarrett as she goes down. Scored the second goal for the Bulldogs in impressive fashion. She was taken down with that slide tackle. And the Bulldogs will have a shot here with Gia Keegan, number 2, the captain, throws in. And a Saint is able to clear it momentarily anyway. And they will take possession and cross midfield with it. On the far side of the field, that's Bowen. And that's going to be number 19 on the field a lot, Kayla Bruno. I was speaking about Danica Jarrett and that second shot, her goal, excuse me. I think it was a pass. I thought it was a pass. It was a perfect shot, though, it turned out to be. It dropped just over the head of Ethan Cherry and into the goal, essentially. And it was Summer Bruno credited for the first goal for the Bulldogs. And we're waiting for some kind of instruction here. And St. Ray's is going to put it up and in play, and upsets the Bulldogs defense. That's Rafferty, and she's going to go far side. And that's number 18 for the Bulldogs, Rose Bowen, another freshman. And they're going to fight for it in midfield. Semi-physical game, wet game. A lot of players have gone to the ground slitting slide tackles. Only a couple whistles. Been a very clean game. 2 offsides calls that one, I think, really definitely cost the Bulldogs a goal opportunity, and out of bounds it goes. As you can see in the darkness, the wind and the rain just blowing on these girls. And they will throw towards midfield. It'll go. And so far this second half, we are just 4 minutes in. We're playing around midfield, 30-yard line to 30-yard line. And this time the Saints are going to throw in this way. Tomorrow the Bulldogs will face another huge challenge as they play Tollgate in another cross division. And when I say cross division, I mean there's a Division 3A that Tollgate is 7-0 in, and the Bulldogs reside in Division 3B, and they're 4-1, looking to be 5-1 after this game. St. Ray's is also in Division 2A, so they're cross division rivals, I would call them, and they're getting an idea of what they will be facing in the playoffs is essentially what they're doing. I don't believe this year is St. Ray's year to see that, but they'll certainly be getting a glimpse of Tollgate. They have to play Lincoln the last game of the season, and Lincoln's listed, I'll say with them. They're on top of them in the ranking just because they played more games. They actually have a 4-2-1 record, which is worse than them in the division. But so they're neck and neck with Lincoln, and Bulldogs beat Lincoln 3-0 this season already, and they finished the season, the regular season that is, playing Lincoln. So we'll see how much that game matters. They always seem to come down to a late game, and the Saints threatening, putting it over the top, seeing if they can get an offensive player behind the Bulldogs defense. They cannot. Kaylee Lamb able to run around a little bit, though, with the ball. Warms up a little bit, gets to her spot, and gets a turn to drop it to midfield. Saints step in. And their offense trying to set up a little bit over the top, and that's going to get to Lamb, who falls to her knees, is able to stop it. And that shot is averted, and I guess the first save of the day credited to Lamb. As she will drop kick it. Bulldogs get in front and proceed across the field, and Trary trying to run it down, and she will. And she'll keep it inbounds as she turns the corner. Tested by the Saints defense. And they come out with out of bounds. It goes, though. And it's going to be Bulldogs. Oh, no, it doesn't. Stayed inbounds, and the Bulldogs will throw in now. It did go out way back there. Correction. Players didn't hear the whistle. I did not hear the whistle. And the Bulldogs throw in deep. There is a St. Ray's defender. So St. Ray's defense not allowing the Bulldogs any shot opportunities yet. This production is brought to you in part by McQuaid's Ace Hardware, Wireless Zone, the Knickerbocker Music Center Live, Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee, and let's see if the Bulldogs can get behind the defense. And the Saints kick it out of bounds, preventing that to happen. The Bulldogs are going to threaten in the Saints' third for the first time really here in the second half, as a center just past Keegan. It gets to Keegan. She's going to have a shot, and it's going to end up in the hands of the Saints goalie as it rolls harmlessly to the lower left of the goal. Didn't get quite the piece of the ball I do believe she wanted. I think it's wet. I know it's wet. Everything's wet. And the drop kick from the Saints goalie. Bulldogs are going to try to save it and keep it in bounds. They will. Number 6 for the Bulldogs, jostling for position, and that's Abby Gervasini on the other side of the field in the first half. And a very, very productive first half for Gervasini, who's had a lot of playing time. And almost gets behind. Bulldogs still battling for it. Intrari on the scene, per the case quite often. And the Saints threatening again. There's no quitting this Saints team. And you find that again across their platform of sport as you do Westerly. And we're waiting to throw in here. The Bulldogs are going to throw in, I do believe. And they are. Heading to our right we go. As the Bulldogs try to move it up the field. The Saints stepping up and in. Up the far sideline, and the Bulldogs step in this time. And let's see if they can proceed any further down towards the Saints net, and they are unable to. So the Saints making a few halftime adjustments have definitely slowed down the Bulldogs' offensive opportunities. That's no doubt about that. We are 8 minutes into the second half here, and the Bulldogs have not threatened. And we're waiting for someone to throw in here and a whistle. Not sure what the official is doing. And we're off. 31 and a half minutes to go in this one, folks. Bulldogs 2, Saints 0. Blustery, tough fall night to go out there and perform. So kudos and credit to both of these squads. I think that's another good reason why the Bulldogs have kept everybody on the field rotating through. Everyone gets a chance to get warm and not sit down this entire time in this horrible weather. The wind is gusting. It is raining. It's pouring at times. So it's definitely anything but comfortable. Bulldogs trying to get behind that last defender. And They are able to. She slips on her pass, but she still gets ahead of the defense. And the goalie comes out. It's loose. And they're going to turn around and score. Number 1 for the Bulldogs, Samantha Sacco on the spot for the rebound. Goal for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs did this jobbing. Down went Intrari as the goalie came out. And that created an open goal. Sacco was there, and in it went for the third goal of the day. 3 scores, three goals, 3 different scores. Samantha Sacco, Danica Jarrett, and Summer Bruno, the 3 scores for the Bulldogs today. And they create a little bit more space, a little bit more insurance. Now it's more, I think they're going to just continue working on things. Like I said, folks, all these goals are with different groups of people that you're not going to see on the field at all times this season. That's for certain. So a beautiful, great goal opportunity created. The first opportunity the Bulldogs really had behind the Saints defense in the second half, and they capitalized on it. Out of bounds it goes, and the Bulldogs will inbound. 30 minutes to go here in this one, 10 minutes gone. Bulldogs draw first blood in the second half. And they keep it in bounds. Zerberini in the air. She's got it. And they try to center it to Keegan. Footing is an issue. They've done a heck of a job, both teams, of maneuvering with the footing. I can't even imagine how wet and or muddy it's getting out there. And they're going to be right back here on the surface tomorrow. The weather doesn't predict a lot better, folks. And like I said, they have no time to heal up as Tollgate comes to town. Tollgate, again, is going to be a tough foe. Then they get a day off. And one more on the 7th versus Tiverton. And Tiverton is in the Bulldogs division. That will count as a division game. And that will be on Friday in Tiverton. Friday, we will be right here, Sal Algieri Field. Bulldogs versus Central on the gridiron, some Friday Night Lights. Hopefully the weather's a little more agreeable than this, although football is a little more conducive, I think, to this weather, if anything, than soccer would be. I really credit, and as you can see, it's definitely affecting the players the closer you look at everything that's happening. And the Bulldogs trying to get behind that defense and almost running it down, and she does it. Trary on the far corner, and she keeps it in bounds, centers it. Bulldogs have it. And another pass just past the intended target. And number 14 fighting for it for the Bulldogs. Jarrett having a game. She definitely has the shot of the day without question. From distance, from an angle, dropping it over like a little teardrop in that perfect spot. So she's done damage, and she's been on the court for the majority of this one thus far. We're 52 minutes into this one, this 80-minute contest. And the Bulldogs set to throw in. Jarrett again. Official backing her up a little bit. This production brought to you in part by Kevin Luther II for Westerly Town Council. Caswell Cook for Rhode Island State Senate, District 38. And the Bulldogs about to throw in from the corner, and they'll do it quickly. And in steps the Saint, but the Bulldogs in the area, that's still threatening. And they try to turn and get one through. There's too many Saints. And the Saints are able to clear for the moment, not for long. Rafferty on the scene again, puts one up and wide right. Had a decent arc on it. A little too far to the right. The slick ball. Definitely affecting everything. And the Saints get set to put it in play, trailing by 3. 27 minutes to go. Second half of action. Wesley.live, Wesley.radio, bringing it to you, folks. It will be in Federico Gymnasium tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. for some lady volleyball action. Another team with state championship aspirations along with this soccer team. We'll be bringing it to you live. Wesley Sports goes idle on Thursday. And we'll be back right here on the gridiron Friday night under the lights. Bulldogs versus Central, which will be no easy task as they reside in the Power 4, quote, Division 1 for the football. So, and a corner kick for the Bulldogs. And a nice one. They almost got a foot on it in the air. Swing and a miss, really. And the Saints will take over. So a little slower pace here by the Saints, I'm noticing, in the second half here. And it's really not surprising. That's kind of natural in the conditions. And a low line drive gets by everybody to midfield. Saints have possession. Nice pass. And they're moving as the defense converges. They're in the corner with it. Tries some fancy footwork. The Bulldogs are able to decipher the code and attempt to get upfield in the opposite direction. And they do. The Saints step in. So a little back and forth here at midfield. Bulldogs now have it. And up. They try to get over the top. Saints are in with a head. At midfield. Saints trying to turn around. Gia Keegan not letting that happen. Oh, and a little bit of jostling over there. And no whistle called. Referee's letting him play. And down goes the Westerly player. And again, no whistle, which these hits are really not even borderline penalties. They're letting them play. And I don't imagine the officials love being out here any more than the players do. I have to be honest with you, folks. But I give a lot of credit. I give a lot of credit to the St. Ray's team. Hard for me to say it, but I have a lot of good friends that went to St. Ray's, and it was a big rivalry for myself, like I said, decades and decades ago. So that being said, everybody on the field for coming out and really giving 100% in these conditions, because St. Ray's certainly has. There's no doubt about that. They played 110% in the first half to keep the Bulldogs at bay as long as they did. And really keeping it the score it is. I mean, this team is playing 11 sophomores, correction. They only have 3 seniors on the team. That was much like a lot of the Bulldog squads last year. The Bulldogs had teams that had no seniors. So that's why this year, last spring, coming into this year, there's a lot of high hopes for a lot of teams. A basketball team, but high hopes for this year's basketball team. So I am just super excited. And that will get to the goalie for the Bulldogs. First time in action really in the second half. So the winter will be full of excitement on the parquet. And we're in. As we're halfway through the second half of play, just about. Gets to the back line of D, and the Bulldogs turning around. And we're moving towards the goal here. Up in the far corner. Letting our teammates catch up. Centers it, and St. Ray's heads in the way. Bulldogs have it. Bulldogs pressuring. Rafferty with it. And in steps the Saint. Out of bounds it trickles. That's going to go off of the Saints, and the Bulldogs will throw in the Saints' third. Intrari trying to center it. Gets by any of the Saints. They do step in, however. Attempt to clear it. Bulldogs putting the pressure on now. And a nice job by the Saints defender. But back come the Bulldogs. They come back. They're like gnats, and they're fast. And as they try to get it behind the defense, they are unable to do so. Sid Hake there. Turns. Passed it upfield. Unable to connect. And we'll play D in the corner. High percentage defensive player, to say the least. And that's going to go to the right side of the goal. And the Bulldogs will put it in play. It will be catching Rafferty. And up the far side. A little physical battle over there. And letting them go at it, that's for certain. Down went a Saint, and the Bulldogs are going to take possession at midfield. And the throw-in out of bounds off the Saints. Over the top. Bulldogs are there. Out of bounds. And they're inching their way down. They were in the area. There were 3 Saints, though. And that's going to be off the Bulldogs, and the Saints will inbound on the far side of the field, going from right to left. This production brought to you, folks, in part by McQuaid's Ace Hardware, your local family-owned hardware store located on Franklin Street in Westerly, RI, your fall cleanup headquarters. And the throw in by St. Ray's is going to go out of bounds, and they're going to work their way down the field, throwing in a little bit here. 10 yards by 10 yards. In step the Bulldogs. Out of bounds it goes again, and they're going to throw in again. So a lot of back and forth right now. And out of bounds it goes. This time it's going to be against the Bulldogs. So they're working their way down the field, the Saints are. They can't do it between the lines. They're going to do it outside. And the Bulldogs defense steps up and kicks it. They're able to keep this one in. Nice job. And Cherry has it going up the far sideline. Good job by the defense, able to clear it and drop it in a spot to change the entire field position. The Bulldogs center. A Saint steps in, and it gets past the Bulldogs' first line. Towards midfield it goes. On the scene, number 18, Rose Bowen, another freshman for the Bulldogs. And towards the middle of the field we go. And she puts it up ahead. And it gets to number 9, Bruno. And she's going to put a shot up, and it comes down into the goal. Oh, close. Sacco came close to keeping that thing loose. Close to an interference just as well, as you see. But the ball came loose. That's what made that legal. Almost snuck another one by. Nice touch from the corner. And the biggest threat the Bulldogs have had in the second half so far. Slower second half than first, without a doubt, on the field. And they're taking a little on-the-field timeout here. And they'll set back up as the injured player leaves the field. And you have to imagine the wet surface contributed to that. It's fortunate, I think that it's never fortunate to have any, but it's fortunate that less players haven't gone down. It's actually added to the defense, I do believe, a little bit. Waiting for the official whistle to get back started again here, folks. 19:30 to go in this one. Bulldogs with a 3-0 lead in a slow-paced second half. It's wet, it's windy, it's cold. The Bulldogs on one end of the spectrum this season, the Saints on the other. So to match up on a night like tonight, the Bulldogs kind of doing what they needed to do. And even more, the coach putting the pressure on the players, really, by using the rotation he's using. It could have been a tactic to make sure that they never got complacent. Because not having played with these combinations of players, you're not quite as comfortable as having the same players as usual, although they often use 90% of their lineup. I remember I have the roster from last game. I bring a fresh one to every game, and I highlight in different colors the players that are active. Well, by the end of the first game we covered this team, every player was highlighted. So I didn't know really where to go with that to start this one. So I started it up again, and again, every player is highlighted. So that's how they roll. It definitely is, and that's going to huge asset as the season goes on. Fresh legs at all times that you can count on. The defense really takes the pressure off of Lamb, and with her capabilities when something does get by, these Bulldogs, they're going to be tough because they have some serious offensive threats. They really do. They have Cisco, who had 7 goals last year, Samantha Sacco, Eva Intreri are up front. Intreri had 9 goals. Samantha Sacco had 10 goals last season. So there's some high goal totals that are back here on the field again for the Bulldogs. Combined with the defense they have, I think that their state title hopes are very realistic. You want to say it's early on in the season, but that early on thing's almost over. We're into fall now. We're into October. You can tell by the weather. That's when these games really, really matter, especially on that cold, windy night where you can catch a team sleeping. The Bulldogs were not caught sleeping here tonight. Coaching did not allow that to happen. No trap game, no nothing. They scored first. They scored not too far into the game, but what they really did was control the entire pace. They controlled the pace of the entire first half. And going into the halftime. Second half, it's been a little bit different. Time of possession has probably been the advantage of the Saints, but again, they haven't got too many opportunities. And here we go. The Bulldogs will have one. And we're off in a moment. As the players keep their feet moving and stay warm. And it's up and it drops. Saints are able to get in the way of it. Dropped it in a nice spot in the middle. They haven't quite gotten themselves out of danger yet. You're not quite out of danger until you can get it behind that D. Oh, it's right in front of it again. That's Bowen that time. And they're able to clear it. Out of bounds it goes. Bulldogs will take possession and throw. Left to right we go. Using her body, Bruno, first goal of the night. Having a really good night. Playing a lot, actually, as well. And she's a key cog. She was last year to this wheel. And as she goes, the Bulldogs go. And playing well right there, creating an opportunity for the Bulldogs offense. In steps the Saints. That goes off of Bruno. And the Saints will throw in. It's been a while since the Saints really have challenge on the Bulldogs side of the field here. They came out of the half, first 20 minutes, I'll say the first 15 or so, they came out with a few adjustments, which added to their time of possession, if nothing less. Since then, the Bulldogs' continuous rotation again makes it a lovely day for me to know exactly who has the ball. But on top of that, makes it it's a real testament for the Bulldogs because they're having a lot of success, and it's just every player on the field. And they offense challenges again, trying to get up ahead, and they are not far from it. Out of bounds it goes. They're able to clear it, they being the Saints, but the Bulldogs will throw in the Saints' third. And the throw in. Out of bounds. Oh, stays in bounds. Bulldogs have it. Zabarini turns with it, and Bruno will have a shot. It's going to go up and over, but there were two defenders. She had to try something magic there anyway. There were two defenders that seemed to be in the lane. Nice effort by Bruno and a nice pass, but the defenders did their job, and they got in the shooting lanes. That would have been some kind of magic. So, the defense for the Saints. 15 minutes to go in this one. Saints would sure love to get on the board. The Bulldogs really not allowing them to even threaten recently, and they are threatening now. Rafferty passes it up ahead, and it trickles a little too far out of the back of the playing field. And the Saints goalie runs the ball and gets it. And we have a new one on the field. It's been a while. I think since the Saints have a shot on goal, I do think they have won this half. So it doesn't seem to matter what mixture of players they've put on the field tonight. The Bulldogs have had success defensively. Different combinations have promoted more pressure offensively. I've seen that. There's no doubt about that. But defensively, Rafferty's been on the field most of the night, and she's a starter any night at all times. She's her and Hake. And they're on the field now, but they have rotated out more than they would on a normal night. And a change of throw-in for the Saints. We're waiting for the whistle, and this production is brought to you in part by Lori Wycall for Westerly School Committee and Tim Killam for Westerly School Committee. The Saints inbound, and they have possession. A lot of Bulldogs in the area, and they'll take it right there. Heading down the field, number 14, pocket pick, Danica Jarrett, having a day. A big reason why the Bulldogs are where they are. The goal, obviously, but I've said her name a lot, that's for certain. Again, only a freshman. This Bulldog team has only, I mentioned, has only 2 seniors. I'm talking about every other team in the league. This Bulldog team only has 2 seniors as well. I don't think I mentioned that, or I did only one time. So they think of their future as well. They're 2 huge seniors, so I don't want to talk about their future. Samantha Sacco and Gia Keegan are huge cogs to this Bulldog. This Bulldog team goes as they go. They're on the field constantly. And however, they only have 2 seniors, so the next few years are going to be the Bulldogs are going to be a tough team to contend with for certain. But their goal is right now is this season, and with those 2 seniors on your team, why wouldn't it be? Because you are going to be losing quite a bit, and a nice defense by the Saints to prevent the first shot, and again to deflect the second shot. 2 opportunities for the Bulldogs. The Saints just a tick quicker, preventing it, keeping the score at 3-0 with 12.5 to go here in the second half. A slower pace second half. You would expect that once they hit that 3rd goal, it eventually wears on a team. And the Bulldogs still pressuring in the far corner, keeping it inbounds. And they have possession. They're going to center. And a Saint steps in, clears out of bounds. Bulldogs will have it. As we see who throws in on the far side for the Bulldogs. And shift change again. Constant substitutions. Swapping of the flags. And the wind just gusting still out there. I am very confident these players just want that clock to tick. And in steps a Bulldog out the back behind the goal. The Saints will put it in play. And it's definitely a crappy ride home, all soaking wet, sore, and distance after a loss. Bulldogs don't have to deal with that tonight, fortunately. As they pressure again, and the defense is there. Playing in the Saints' 3rd for the majority here of the last 15 minutes of the game anyway. The Bulldogs have had the pressure on the Saints. Saints came out of the half. I'll say they had the pressure on the Bulldogs for a little while, but not too long till the Bulldogs woke back up and, in fact, scored a 3rd goal. Saints challenging here. It's been a bit, and the Bulldogs step in and are able to turn the corner and put it up. And they're now on the run, have completely switched sides of the field. And it'll go out of bounds, and it's going to go in St. Ray's favor. The throw in. Bulldogs step in, out of bounds, it'll do it again. And we're off. Battling on the far side. And a whistle. This one's going to go against St. Ray's. And the players will reset. Nice inbound. And back out it goes. Bulldogs will do it again quickly. And the official stopped a little too quickly, I believe. As we are under 10 to go, I'm the voice, Greg Moran, alongside producer, owner, Shane Belanger. We have Lisa and True out in the weather behind the lens. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio, bringing you Lady Varsity Soccer action. It looks like they're going to go to 5-1, folks. They've had a nice night out. They have had a horrible night out, but they've played a nice game considering the conditions and everything involved. A little redemption. They'll feel a little vindication, I suppose. Clearly not the same as last year, but it's the best you can get. And in these conditions, sometimes of the games, you see upsets. That was not going to be the case tonight. Every player for the Bulldogs, and they're still challenging on offense here. Every player for the Bulldogs got on the field often and in different places, making it a wonderful game to try to keep track of. But all of the players clearly capable for this Bulldog squad. They're interchangeable, this entire team, with only 2 seniors and a lot of experienced sophomores and juniors. A lot of experienced juniors, and there are experienced sophomores, Nora Zerberini being probably the most for the Bulldogs, having played full time last year as a freshman. And we're on the far side, 8 to go, 3-goal lead for the Bulldogs. Like I said, we'll be back in action, Federico Gymnasium tomorrow night. Volleyball action. The ladies volleyball team having a great start. They have state championship aspirations, and they're going to go put their record to the test tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Tune in. Day off, and then right back here, but we'll call it the Gridiron Friday night under the lights. Central comes to town, a big challenge for this Bulldog squad. Bruno playing defense on the ball, getting through about 3 offensive players, and still going at it, seeming an endless supply of energy, it appears they have. And Zerberini with it, using her body, feet, beautiful pass. Nice move on that side. Bulldogs playing possession soccer, and a nice pass over the top. Just passing Trary, and shot attempt kind of trickled to the side of the goal. And again, conditions playing a role. St. Ray's will inbound here. We are under 7 to go in a quiet second half. And up step the Bulldogs. They will not let the Saints get on their half of the field as they still press. They want one more. Almost gets through. It's loose. And the Saints are able to put it out of bounds. And it's going to stay in Westerly's direction. And the throw in to number 3, Cassidy Cisco, the junior for the Bulldogs. Up over the top, just a little too far. Almost squirts out of the goalie's hands. So still, no quit. 100%. Bulldogs going at it. Challenging this St. Ray's defense. 6 minutes to go. 3 is not enough for them. 3 is not enough for the coach. He's kept everybody busy, and that is for certain. I can attest to that. Every time I look down, it seems as there's a different number in front of me. And what a credit to that team that is, because that is going to be a force to be reckoned with as the season gets down to the nitty-gritty. Off into the empty stands that one goes. Hopefully we have another. This production brought to you in part, folks, by Wireless Zone, your Verizon authorized retailer located in Dunn's Corners next to Duncan. Cell phone sales, service, and repair. Get up to $1,000 off iPhone 14 with trade-in when you pre-order. And the Bulldogs have it in the Saints' third, where they've made a foundation. They've been living there this half. And they're still back and forth. The Saints can't get it out, so we're going to miss. Bulldogs still trying to jostle it loose and get a shot. They almost do. Chips it wide right. And that is going to give the Saints an opportunity to clear it here. And they're in no rush to inbound. I would imagine they've had enough with the weather. Saints still looking for their first win of the season. Folks, this is a young Saints squad. 11 sophomores. It'll be a different story for the next 2 years. And much like this Bulldog squad is now starting to reach their potential, and they're going to just be a force to be reckoned with this year, next year, and probably the following, considering how many freshmen are playing already. And Bruno battling in the side of the field, still battling. 3-0 lead. That's what you want. You want tenacity out of your players, and the Bulldogs have it. 4 minutes to go, 3-0 lead, fighting 100% for the ball. So this team's a well-oiled machine. And that inbound does get behind, but Haight doesn't take long to run it down, as she is like a motor. And out of bounds around midfield, St. Ray's will throw in. There's a whistle at the 3.5 mark. Waiting for the whistle to go here. St. Ray's number 4 is set to throw in. And Westerly will kick it out. They'll inch their way down a little bit here, trying to get on the board before this thing's over. They've put in a lot of effort. They threatened more often in the first half. They were in Bulldogs third more often, a little bit in the start of the second half even, I would say. The most that they were all night was out of the half. But then things changed and the Bulldogs had taken control of time of possession here in the second half and to a dominating point on the game when the numbers are tallied. Coming down our sideline a little too far ahead, it was number 19, Caleb Bruno, running it down. And the Saints and Bruno battling for it. The Bulldogs will end up with it. And the Bulldogs with it. Midfield. Up ahead to the corner, nice pass. And the Saints will cut it off. And they're battling in the corner. Keeping it inbound somehow over there. 4 players over there. And the Bulldog gets a foot on it. Rafferty has it. With time, she moves forward. Little footwork gets by. And then in steps the Saint at the last moment. Bulldogs still have it. And Bruno centers it. Beautiful centering pass, too, as well. Again, the Bulldogs with it. They're not going quietly. 1.5 to go, and they're trying to add to this 3. No-quit Bulldog squad on a horrible, windy, wet Tuesday night. They come out, and they come out with everything. Every single player from A to Z got on the field and performed for this Bulldog team. And they come out with a 3-0 victory, which on a different day, on a different night, under different circumstances, would have been a lot more, I do believe. Regardless, a W is a W. These are the W's that are really important at the end of the day. When you look back, you remember that rainy night that a lot of teams, that could have been a loss because you didn't come together or you didn't come ready, that you let one slip away just because maybe it is raining and horrible out. Bulldogs did not fall victim to the trap. Not the case. They're coming back tomorrow right here, folks, and it's going to be a little different story. They're going from a winless team to a team that's undefeated. Again, it's a crossover game. It's a 2A, and they'll be playing Tollgate tomorrow with a 7-0 record coming to town. We'll be in the gym, lady volleyball action, and then we'll be back here on the gridiron under the lights Friday night, Central coming to town. Approaching additional time here. 3-0 the score. Bulldogs still not 100% sure that's going to be the final. They are pressuring, and they have the last 25-30 minutes of the second half. Centering Bruno, beautiful job. And the Bulldogs get possession and score. What a pass by Bruno, and puts it off of her foot to herself in the back of the net for the Bulldogs. What a pass and shot.
Number 16, Vittoria Iliano.
The goal, Vittoria Iliano, number 16, 4 goals for the Bulldogs, 4 different players. How do you like that? Talk about getting everybody involved on a rainy, horrible night. That makes the score 4-0. Going into additional time, and 4 different people will score. That's the stuff that makes the coaches happy, and that's the stuff that makes you a buzzsaw. Oh, not a buzzsaw because the record's going to go with them, but that makes you a tough team to contend with going down the road. Nice job by the Lady Bulldogs tonight, and not quitting never quitting. From whistle to whistle, they did not quit. With all this weather, it's a final, it's in the books, and they put one in the back of the net with under 30 seconds left, going 100% in this weather. Kudos to this Bulldog squad. We are Westerly.live, Westerly.radio. We're signing off for the night. We'll be back in action in the gym tomorrow night, 6:30.